I think I see it. It's it's way up there. I'm that's got to be what I'm gonna climb today. It's pretty intimidating.
Hi, Daddy.
It is about 9 o'clock and I'm 5 miles into the hike today. It's gonna be good weather today for a hike. It was foggy this morning, but I didn't miss out on anything. But it is kind of cool to mix the forest with the fog and a sunrise. It's hard to beat that as far as just a vibe goes. But I took 2 zeros in Daleville at the Super 8. So I hiked into Daleville a few days ago after a 25-mile day and just decided to, since I got there a day early, I decided to just take 2 zeros instead of a Nero and a zero and rest up my legs for the next week's push. My goal is 100 miles a week. So today is day 1 and it's been 2 hours of climbing. So I'm on the descent portion of the mountain I just went up. There was a shelter at the very top of that mountain. It was about 1/10 of a mile off the trail, but it seems like a pretty cool location for a shelter. So my goal right now is I'm 5 miles in and there's a lot of possibilities up ahead, but I got my eye on some tent sites about 17 more miles up, and I'm hoping to make that. My legs feel pretty good. While I was in Daleville, I got, besides the normal stuff, resupply, shower, laundry, all that, I got new tips for my trekking poles because they were just worn down at the local outfitter, and that was within walking distance of the motel. So that was good, and I also got new insoles for my feet. I figure I got 3 more weeks, and I'm gonna try and make it on this pair of shoes that I got in Franklin. And they're starting to show wear and tear, and I figure if I just replace the insoles, comfort-wise, I would be okay. Condition-wise, they're tearing at the pinky location on just one shoe so far. But I think I can stretch these things out another 3 weeks. So I'm going to try and do that. But the rest was much needed, and I feel pretty good. I woke up that second day trying to decide whether to take take the second zero or hike out, and I just wasn't feeling it, physically or mentally. So that's just a sign that I'm kind of wearing down a little bit. But this morning I do, once I started hiking, I started feeling, pretty good about being out here. And, my legs started moving and just felt like a normal day. So we're going to go onward, and hopefully the fog will lift and I'll get some decent views today. So another thing is, since I crossed into Virginia, I think I've had a deer sighting every day. And it's only 9 o'clock today. I've already seen 4. The last day, a few days ago that I was on trail, I saw 6. So, and that same day I saw the 6 deer, I saw 4 bear too. But it seems like every day there's a deer sighting out here. So, all right, onward. right, I am 3/4 of a mile from a tent site, I believe, or I might have to go up to another 1.5 miles. So I think it's going to be like a 22-mile day, but there's a creek right here at 3/4 of a mile just before, and it's an uphill climb too. There's a creek here. I'm filling up on water before I head into camp. So it won't be too much of a hike with full water supplied. And it's been a good day. It's been mostly a ridge walk, and all afternoon I've been kind of adjacent and in and out of the Blue Ridge Parkway. All the overlooks were on the Blue Ridge Parkway, so that was kind of cool, and had some really great views today at the Peaks of Otter. That was one of them. So there's I passed a shelter a few miles back, and then there's another shelter a few miles up, but I'm not feeling that. So I think there's a couple of stealth tent sites between this creek and the next shelter that I'm going to check out. So we're going to get the water supplied, full bottles, full bladder, and then we're going to hike on. So onward. All right, end of day, and it's about 6:30, and I still have to eat. I just set up camp, and I'm on a ridge line somewhere near the Blue Ridge Parkway. I don't know the name of this little hill that I'm on, but I'm all by myself. It's kind of a documented stealth site. Not really stealth again, because the trail is about 30 feet right over there. I am about 35 miles south of Glasgow, and of course 22 miles north of Daleville. So I got another 2 days worth of hiking to get into Glasgow. I am low on fuel, which I forgot to replace when I was in Daleville, but I think I got enough to cook with to get me into Glasgow and resupply. Plus there's another hostel in Glasgow I want to check out, so that's 2 days away. But today 22 miles and just kind of a nice day with some views. Tomorrow I think it's going to be a little bit more challenging as far as the steepness of the ascents and the descents go, but it's supposed to be a good weather day. But day after tomorrow there's some rain coming in. But right now all I'm worried about is food and getting something to eat and laying down and recovering for tomorrow, which I hope to be another 20-some mile day. I'm not sure where that'll put me, but it still gives me 15 miles left to get into Glasgow on the day after tomorrow. So that's still a long hike, 7-8 hours. But you can't see it, but yeah, a little bit through the trees. That might be tomorrow's hike, that ridge right there. It's possible. I never know. So I got about 270 miles left in this hike, getting closer, and I'm feeling it. So it's like a big magnet from Harper's Ferry pulling me in. But I also FaceTime with both my daughters, one last night, one just a little while ago. Had a mediocre connection. So it was good to talk to them. In fact, one of them is in Tennessee, not too far from here, on a little mini vacation. So can't wait to see them in a few weeks. But so speaking of Muffin and Button, I love you, and Acorn Army, appreciate all the support. I love you too. See you next time. right, I've left my tent site up on Cove Mountain, and I'm in the middle of a approximately 3-hour descent down into a gap, and then I'll go over a small, call it a hill, and then there's a huge climb. I think it's going to be about 3,000 feet elevation gain coming up this afternoon or later this morning. So it's been kind of all downhill or flat so far. Last night was kind of uneventful. Spent the night at a stealth tent site. No one else was there. And in fact, the shelter that was 2 miles up, unless someone got up early and left, there didn't appear to be anybody staying at that shelter. So it's overcast today, and that is the theme of my thru hike. I've run into a lot of overcast weather, and plus, being in this green tunnel, it makes it even seem more overcast than it probably is outside. But I can see a little bit through the trees. There's a lot of low-level clouds in the gaps right now. There is a chance of showers this morning, and then again, showers all night tonight. I'm not sure about tomorrow, but so the short-term plan, I've got about 30 some miles to get to the next resupply point, which is Glasgow, Virginia. So I hope to be walking into Glasgow, or at least getting a ride into Glasgow tomorrow. I love tripping. Long term, Waynesboro, where I hope to take my next 0 day, that's about 110 miles up. So if I get to Glasgow, I can plan a resupply, enough food, and definitely I do need fuel to get me to Waynesboro, and probably be the last time I have to buy fuel through the end of the hike, since as of this morning I was about 270 miles left to go, which is approximately 3 weeks. So one of those larger fuel canisters will supply me enough for 3 weeks. So fuel and food in Glasgow. There is a hostel there that's been recommended. I'm going to try and get into, and some nearby grocery stores near that hostel. So that's the plan. Unless this huge ascent coming up, actually, it looks really big, but daily, the plan is shoot for 20 miles, weekly shoot for 100 miles. So daily it kind of varies, but I've been able to get 20-mile days in with days without rain, let's say. So I'm going to hopefully get some views today up on that, after that large ascent, and without all the cloud cover. I think I see it. It's it's way up there. I'm that's got to be what I'm gonna climb today. It's pretty intimidating. So I'll get the name of it later and throw it out there, but for now it's onward. And welcome to another installment of I'd Tent That. I'm at the top of Fork Mountain, and there is an advertised tent site, which I just came across, and it's right here. And it's at the crown of the mountain, so drainage is good. No water up here, so that's a negative. You have to carry your water in. It's a 1,000-foot climb up to get here. So for flat, yes, I could find a flat spot. It is a little bit rocky, and some routes to consider. And upstairs, it looks like all is safe up there as far as dead branches go. But you never know. I've seen these tall trees that have blown over. They could be 100 foot away and fall on top of your tent. So, but all in all, I'd go 7 out of 10. I'd tent that. And if you catch this in the right season, you're on top of the mountain with no leaves, great views. There are mountains all around. Well, actually, talking about falling, there's a tree that fell right there. It missed the tent site unless somebody's pushed it out of the way, but well, it's already on the ground, so that tree right there, that one right there, that's dead. I mean, it's got some growth at the top, but for the most part. So, what's life without a little risk? All right, 6 out of 10, I'd tent that. Onward. All right, the magic raincoat strikes again. On the trail, about 16 miles in, and an unexpected shower pops up. It sounded like it was going to be, pretty constant, pretty strong. So I whipped out the magic raincoat, and no sooner had I put it on than the rain stopped. And now I have to decide whether I want to take it back off and pack it away or keep it on and possibly sweat additionally over what I've already sweat. My shirt's already wet. I don't know why I care, but I don't know. I got to find a way to market this thing. Maybe one of a kind. All right, so onward. right, end of day. And after getting rained on, which was not in the forecast, this was not supposed to be a rain day. It's supposed to be tomorrow and possibly the next day. But anyway, so I'm wet, and it's about close to 5 o'clock. It's a 20-mile day. So I'm at the Thunder Hill shelter area up on top of this mountain. And I was thinking about staying in the shelter only because there's supposed to be some overnight rain. But I think I'm going to set up my tent. The rain has stopped for now, but they're still calling for rain overnight and into the early morning, and then chance of thunderstorms all day tomorrow. Okay, so that's the shelter, just down the trail. Water source, kind of questionable, is right up there. This is the tent area, and it's really grassy. There's one, maybe two spots that are flat enough to set up on. One way in the back right there, and then one closer, kind of like right in here. And there's a fire ring, but everything's wet. I'm not going to use that. The privy is right down the trail, one of the better ones, one of the newer ones, and right across the entry trail into this area and across from the tent area, that's a bear box. So I can, just a short walk, keep my food safe there. There are bears in this area, but I think I will be setting up. It's a little windy up here on the ridge and chilly. But with the 20-mile day today, that gives me just shy of about 15 miles into Glasgow, Virginia. There's a hostel there, which I'm going to try and get a spot at tomorrow. And I'll probably get wet tomorrow because like I said, they're calling for thunderstorms all day. But so today was, I had a big descent coming out of camp, but it was just a long climb up to this mountain, and it took all of probably 5 to 6 hours. Just it'd go up and then it was down, so, and go up again, and so it just, and then a little bit of ridge walking. So it took all day to get here. 20 miles, I stopped at around 4, and I would have liked to have gone farther, except for the rain, of course, but there really wasn't any indication that there was a tent site or anywhere where I could throw down my tent within 6 miles north of here. So with the way the terrain is, I just didn't want to take a chance of not finding anything until it got dark. So I'm good with the 20 miles today. It's just I wanted to have a shorter hike into Glasgow. So it's going to take me 8 hours to get in there tomorrow, which puts me into kind of mid-afternoon. And that's if it doesn't rain. The rain will slow me down, not so much for getting wet, but the trail gets slippery for me, and so I have to walk slower. So that looks like home for the night, right back there. Slight slope, but I think I can work the tent so I won't feel it. A couple little tricks I can do, but so my stuff is sitting in the shelter. Might as well walk down there. The shelter's got a metal roof, so it's really noisy when the rain hits. That's one reason I'm going to tent. Also, there's indication that there's a lot of mice activity. And one of the comments was kind of funny. It said there's more mice activity there than there is in Disneyland. So I'm just going to go ahead and tent. Whatever the rain does overnight, that's fine with me. But it's just, breaking down the camp in the morning when it's raining, that's no fun. But all right, so I'm gonna We're gonna walk down here to, and I'll turn the camera around. All right, so picnic table, fire ring right in front of the shelter, and there's probably room for about 6 people in here. It's pretty basic, and that's the Thunder Hill shelter. And the water is right down in here.